So in this recording, in this class, we're going to cover Mishnayot 7 and 8, Zayin and Het, in chapter 2, Perek Bet of Pirke Abot. So Hu Haya Omer, we're continuing with Hillel. Marbe basar, marbe rima. The more flesh you consume, the more food you consume, the more worms to consume you after you go to the grave. And some say even during one's lifetime, from all the food that one eats, if one eats unhealthy, it brings diseases to the person. That's rima. Marbe nechasim, marbe de'aga. Someone who increases in property has more anxiety. Marbe nashim, marbe cheshafim. A person that would increase wives back in the olden days, when you were allowed to have more than one wife, the more witchcraft, because the various women would try to hex their husband for his attention. Marbe shefachot, marbe zima. Right? Once a man has a lot of wealth, says I can have a lot of wives, says I can have a lot of shefachot, a lot of female slaves to come with them, the more lewdness, marbe zima, and then marbe avadim, with all that money, also comes a lot of slaves a person wants to increase. Marbe chazel also increases the amount of robbery. And this represents this part of the Mishnah. Hillel's talking about the physical pleasures of the world. The more physical pleasures that a person increases, the more worry, the more issues, the more concerns a person will have going around, the more zima and gazel, the more negative behavior that the person will encounter in his home. On the other hand, we have the spiritual pursuits that a person should chase after, that Hillel talks about here. Marbe Torah, marbe hayim. If a person increases Torah, they increase life. Marbe yeshiva, marbe chokhmah. A person who sits and settles their mind sitting in front of a chacham and with tamidei chachamim around him, marbe chokhmah, increases wisdom. Marbe etzah, a person who's not specific to their advice about something, but seeks counsel and advice from others, marbe tebuna, that person increases their understanding. Marbe tzedakah, marbe shalom. Someone who increases tzedakah increases shalom. And again, as we see over here, the importance of a person pursuing all of these positive elements, the more spiritual, Torah, yeshiva, etzah, and tzedakah, right? Torah, don't need to explain that. Yeshiva, the sitting with the right mindset towards the Torah. Etzah, right counsel, and tzedakah. Well, that not just being spiritual, it's physical action, but the tzedakah comes from all of this Torah that a person behaves with. And then Hillel ends with this comment: Kana shem tov, kana le'atzmo. That with all that's going on over here, a person may have tendencies to chase after the physical and chase after the material. On the other hand, the person who runs after a shem tov, a good name, not a name that they want to be well known by everyone for all the things that they do, but a shem tov, a good name, is when a person is chasing after the Torah and the yeshiva and the etzah and the tzedakah, kana le'atzmo. That person has acquired something important for themselves. Kana lo divrei Torah, a person who acquired for themselves the knowledge of Torah, kana lo hayeh olam haba. That person indeed has acquired for themselves life in the world to come, because they spend their time focusing on attaching themselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In the next Mishnah, we read about Rabban Yohanan ben Zakkai. Rabban Yohanan ben Zakkai, although he was not a descendant of Hillel, he received tradition Mehillel Mishamai. Again, Rabban Yohanan ben Zakkai, living right before and during and after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, He was an important Talmid of Hillel. What's fascinating is that the Gemara tells us that out of the 80 students of Hillel, the Gemara tells us that he was the Katan Shebakulam. He was the smallest out of all the 80 Talmidim of Hillel. And it teaches us an important lesson, that it's not about how much you know, that many times it's about your ability to lead. Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai was a leader. Let's see what this leader says. Hu haya omed, in lamata Torah harbe, al tahazik tova le'atzmecha. If you learned a lot of Torah, don't go boasting about it. Ki lechach nosarta, because that's your purpose. And if that's your purpose, you don't boast about your purpose. Your purpose is to learn Torah, to act Torah. That's your purpose. And he had 5 students. Hamisha talmidim hayu lo leRabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. Ve'elu hen Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenos. He's Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yoshua ben Hananya. That's Rabbi Yoshua in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yosea Kohen. Rabbi Shimon ben Netanel. And Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. And he would list the praises of these rabbis, of his students. Huaya moneh shibhan. Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenos. Bor sud sheno me'abed tipa. He is a plastered cistern which loses not a drop. He retains all of his information that he learns. Rabbi Yoshua ben Hananya, ashrei yoladto. Praiseworthy is the woman that gave birth to him. Rabbi Yosea Kohen Hasid. He was a pious man, always acting properly, sometimes even to the right of the law, in order to act properly with others. Rabbi Shimon ben Netanel yereh het. He was a person who feared sin and therefore made sure to always act properly. He had the proper awe of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, he was ma'ayan mitkaber. He's like a spring, mitkaber, ever gathered force, very strong ma'ayan, a strong spring, constantly giving water, constantly giving Torah. Hu haya omer, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai said, Im yiyu chol chachmei Yisrael bechaf mo'oznayim, ve'Eliezer ben Horkenos bechaf sheniya, machriya et kulam. If Eliezer ben Horkenos was on one side and all the rabbis of Israel on the other side, Eliezer ben Horkenos would outdo all of them. Again, Eliezer ben Horkenos being the bor sud she'eno me'abed tipa, who doesn't lose a drop, an ounce of Torah. Abba Shaul omer mishemo, but Abba Shaul says it differently in the name of Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. Im yiyu chol chachmei Yisrael bechaf mo'oznayim, ve'Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenos af imahem, ve'Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. If Rabbi Elazar ben Arach was on the other side, machriya et kulam. He would overdo when he would outdo all of them. But bottom line, from these 2 Mishnayot, we learned about Hillel talking about what you chase after, what you focus on in your world, with Torah, with wisdom, with tivuna, understanding, tzedakah, shalom. And then Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai saying, very simply, that you learn a lot of Torah, don't boast about it. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to acquire the wisdom of the Torah, to acquire the knowledge and the understanding that comes with it. And therefore, that type of person, like Hillel says back in Mishnah Zayin, Chana Shem Tov, you acquired something good for yourself. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.